Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Quick message going out to all you YouTubers out there just before we start today's cast. I'm still getting a lot of messages from people, or a lot of comments from people when the video first gets uploaded about the lack of high definition. Guys, YouTube works in a slightly peculiar way. When I finish uploading a video, it has a small period of processing. And once that processing period has finished, the video will be available in 360 or 480p only. And that's when you'll get your little message in your subscription feeds or your emails, if you have it set up that way, to announce that there is a new video there or one has been published. But of course, if you go there, you'll only see the low definitions. There's another period of processing happening concurrently, and that's what will allow you to watch the higher definitions. They will become available later, so fear not. I always upload in high definition, guys. We don't want any low quality stuff coming out this way. Anyway, that's enough of that. On to today's game. It's going to take place on Canis 4v4 Special Edition, or Special Edition, because it's Germanic. So the gloves are off and the giant mechanical booties are on. Let's head on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So taking a look at the teams and how they stack up, we'll call this Team 1 up here and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Taking a look at the players we got up here at the top left in mellow yellow. For Team 1, it's Just a Game. He's going Cybran, opening first land. To his right, team member number 2 for Team 1, it's Kinky Priest in elephantine grey. He's also going Cybran, also going first land. And to his right, team member number 3 for Team 1, it's Clan Tags Chosen. Saw a lot of this guy yesterday in yesterday's cast. He plays a hell of a lot. He's probably one of my most, if not my most, casted player. He's just got a huge ton of games to his credit, so that is why he gets featured so much, and they're often pretty good. Anyway, he's going Cybran as well, so 3 Cybrans there for Team 1, and last but not least for Team 1 down here, team member number 4, it's General CL, or General in Halib Orange, and he's going Aeon. So that's Team 1. Down here at the bottom for Team 2, over on the right-hand side in Pontiff White, we have Kircher, and he is going Aeon. To his left over here in the middle, we have Lanelas in Ferrari Red. He's going Cybran, opening first land. And to his left over here on the far left for Team 2, we have Sui in Baby Blue going Aeon, opening first and second land. And last but not least for Team 2, we have Eradicator bucking the trend of Aeon and Cybran. He's going UEF in Combat Green. So those are the teams. That is how they stack up. We can now take a look at the initial plays, what's going on. We've got a lab out for Tag Chosen, heading south with great gusto and intent, heading over to the right hand side over here, looking for potentially some engineers you would imagine to kill. There are a few in place. It looks like it's going to be Laneless's territory, as you would expect, coming over here, going to grab those 2 mexes or attempt it. Laneless's ACU is also heading over that way, so it'll be in the area, but I think he's just going to miss the arrival of that lab. Unfortunately, not in time to swat it out the way. More's the pity from his perspective. So it looks like we've got a potential early engineer kill there from Chosen. Over here, Just a Game making his way over to the left-hand side of the map with his ACU, very much mimicking what Team 2 are doing down here. Coach are doing the same kind of thing. He's heading up to this little plateau up here. Laneless going to stop up the walkway here across the river near the base, and indeed, there we see the Hunter making some plays on that engineer. The engineer turns around and tries to flee, but it's not going to be enough. Score 1 first blood there to Chosen. Nice little bit of harassment. It's going to head south, though. That will be the end of his game, because he's going to run promptly into Kircher's ACU, who's going to correct that little issue that they've been having down there with that lab by swatting it with his main cannon. And Eradicator moving quite far forward with his ACU. Let's take a look at where his rally point is, right the way up here. Gonna nestle up next to this mass point and try and stem the tide of anything coming down this way. Conversely, General CL on the other side of the river, not having moved quite so far up, but nonetheless has broken free of the front of the baseline there and is looking to expand a little bit himself. Sui making his way out with quite a lot of units early to grab the mexes and potentially that hydro as well. A little bit further ahead of that. Then Chosen just grabbing his first mechs in the top right-hand corner there and throwing down a assisted factory there, getting the adjacency bonus on that mechs. So the expansion pretty even all round. Potentially, I'd say a little bit more aggressive expansion there from Team 2, but there's not a lot in it. Just a game quite far south himself has a factory down there on the ridge, and Kinky Priest going to put down 2 of his own factories in that little nook there himself as well. But not a great deal of combat happening right off the cuff here. Mainly these guys focusing on upgrading. Air factory being placed there for Priest. Still none for Chosen or anyone else. So that's the first little venture into the air game there for Team 1. Air factory nearly finished there for Eradicator. One already in place for Laneless, who has a couple of interceptors in the air. So early little bit of air dominance there for Team 2, and a large group, well, sizable group for this stage in the game of Mantis heading north there for Laneless, and could be about to grab a bunch of engineers from just about every member in Team 1. One down for Kinky Priest, one down for Chosen, and 2 down there for General. The only person not to be affected by that little engagement is Just a Game over here on the left-hand side. A little bit of a run-by there from Eradicator as well, or an attempt to. Those Mantis finally meeting their match in the form of the General's ACU there. But nice work from Laneless, splitting up Mantis, going in all directions, trying to grab those reclaiming engineers as best he can. 1 kill on that Mantis there. And might potentially grab a mechs here as well. Chosen bearing down on these units with his ACU. Won't be in time to save the mechs, but will manage to finish off the last of that little group of Mantis. Another little group of Mantis, though, heading up north there from Laneless, trying to get in on this little expansion here of Chosen's. There are the odd Mantis, or there is the odd Mantis coming out of this factory in the corner. Will it be enough to stem the tide of these 3? If you can keep them alive, he can polish off a few of these reclaiming engineers, grabbing what units he can, and manages to finish off that engineer before it can finish the Hydro. That's a nice snag, and it's going to slow up Chosen's expansion a little bit. And some posturing going on the left-hand side there between Sui and Just a Game. Large groups of units back and forth there for both teams, or both of those players, but largely static as we reach the 8-minute mark. We're seeing some T2 on the field now for Laneless, and he's grabbing a com upgrade while we're at it. So pumping out the hoplites. One there, another moving in. And what are we seeing on the field? Not a great deal for the moment, but that's a lot of jesters up here at the top left-hand corner. So that air factory coming into play from Just a Game. And I think I saw him saying he was going to go for Eradicator. What have we got down here in terms of anti-air? Not a great deal. Eradicator's busy building a tactical missile launcher. In come the interceptors there from Kinky Priest, running interference, trying to keep the pathway clear for those jesters. It's going to take a little bit of time for those jesters to finish off that ACU. They started building an air cleaner, unfortunately not far enough through that to be able to stand a chance of getting that online. That ACU down to 11,500 HP and falling. Lots of interceptors in the sky now, running interference there by Kinky Priest, knocking out those defending interceptors coming in from Laneless and Eradicator. Eradicator down to 5,508 points and falling. No anti-air in the area at all. He's down into the red. Some archers coming in, but it's not going to be enough. Surely 1,500 hit points and falling, and he's going to go down. First member out of this game at 9 minutes 40. Eradicator knocking Team 2 down to just 3 players. That's going to be painful. Nice work there from Just a Game. Good teamwork as well from Priest, coming in with those interceptors. A good split of the burden there. One team member going interceptors and the others going gunships. Nice work indeed. There goes the destruction, the auto-destruct there of Eradicator's base. Always nice to see a game that doesn't have full share on. Cannot stand full share at all. And Kocha had a ton of engineers up here, I guess on a recycle reclaim mission, but he's bringing those back. Wisely done as well. Chosen has quite a few Mantis in the area. Just a game. He's got so many though on this left hand side. He could really do some damage if he made a push. Yes, there are quite a few Auroras, but of course pound for pound you get the Mantis in amongst the Auroras. They're not going to even up. Yes, there is this wall section being built, which could potentially slow things up. He could still squeeze them through on this left-hand side. He could definitely deny all this, knock this out of Sui's hands, but that would be quite an aggressive maneuver, I guess. And considering the amount of air control they had actually with Kinky's interceptors and the few jesters that he's still got on hand, he's got another 4 jesters in there. He could really tear Sui a new one, and I think he's thinking about it now. Those Mantis heading south as we speak. A little bit of an engagement over on the right hand side. Those hoplites from Laneless enough to dissuade Chosen from moving south with any of his. General taking an awful lot of Cerberus fire, just marching balls out with his ACU. Good thing for him, those are the new Cerberus turrets, or he would be down, or potentially down into the red by now. Nice overcharge though, finishes off one of them. Still one online. Now Mantis and Hoplites moving in from Laneless, going to force General's ACU into the water for his own protection. But look at that horde of yellow over on the left hand side from Just a Game. It's actually a nice maneuver forming up that wall section there from Sui. It's funneling these units down here into the canyon. There were some Raptor turrets and associated wall sections being placed, but I think that's a little bit too late. Those Mantis are going to get down here and start causing trouble long before any of these engineers can finish off any of this PD. Down they go, and new PDs have to be placed down here on the right hand side to prevent this Mantis from making their way into the main base. But if Just a Game is sensible, he could wheel these units left and start threatening all this. Lots of Eruptor turrets being queued up. He's going to be running out of time. That one though in the gorge here, the entranceway to Team 2's base is already online, and it's already popping those Mantis, and you can see how effective those wall sections are against Mantis. There's virtually nothing coming off that Eruptor turret, and it's popping Mantis left, right and center. So his best bet, now he's committed, I guess, is to move on into Team 2's base. That seems to be what he's decided to do. Sui is bringing his ACU into the mix, but how many Oblivion turrets has he got online? Quite enough to stop this, thank you very much. That's what he says, as those Mantis from Just a Game come pouring into Team 2's base and probably getting vaporized by that beautiful AoE that those Oblivion turrets possess. Sui not under any real threat at this point from those Mantis. Might potentially score a kill there on one of those air factories that have been busily, hurriedly producing T1 bombers. Thankfully for us, not a lot has been going on the rest of the map in the meantime. Kiki's got 1 or 2 bombers out. It's been harassing Kocha's forward base up here, but not enough to deal any real damage. We've got Swift Winds out for Kocha, so that's a nice little bit of tech upgrading going on there for the air game for Team 2. A little bit of a push here from Chosen. Has got some T2 units, but unfortunately they're bangers, they're anti-air, so they're not going to fare too well against the T2 in this mix from Laneless. Those hoplites doing very nicely indeed. Still some Cerberus turrets in commission down here, but now just down to 184 hit points left on that, and some even songs there for General. T2 mobile missile launchers will finish off those Cerberus turrets. So all in all, Team 1 looking pretty strong here, looking very aggressive indeed. Taken out Eradicator nice and early on, and now we're heading into the 15-minute mark into this game. And they really have kept the pressure up on this left-hand side. Although Sui's not in bad shape, he managed to deal with that attack very effectively indeed without losing too many units. Now he's got a decent bunch of Auroras of his own and quite a few bombers to boot. He's going to force Just the Game to move this bunch of Mantis back to friendlier territory with a nice little set of bombing sorties there. In comes Kinky Priest with some interceptors to try and thin out these bombers. Going to go after the interceptors first, potentially. He's definitely got a lot more on the field there in terms of air power than Sui does. That will help air dominance there for Team 1. However, that's a lot of swift winds on the other side of the map from Koacher coming in to assist. And Priest wisely keeping an eye on intel, withdraws those interceptors, doesn't want to get those embroiled in a fight with those swift winds. That would definitely not go well for him. Kinky Priest chilling in the water up here with his comm. General still being quite ballsy with his. He's got a little bit of a base creep going on, shoving down a T2 shield generator there. He's got Volcano in place, he's got an Oblivion turret in place. Looking very turtley and defensive, but Laneless is building up a nasty group of T2 units there, and we've actually got a spy plane out there for Kinky Priest, so he's made the transition from T1 straight to T3 tech. And probably means we're going to start seeing ASFs on the field very soon indeed. Kircher still focusing on T2, so that will be a tech deficit there for Team 2. Lots of evensongs posturing backwards and forwards there for General. But nothing happening to any great extent. And look at this, 3 Harbingers on the field up here for Koacher, so this must be a T3 factory over here. Yes, it is. Currently paused production, but those Harbingers marched up the right hand side. Look like they've reclaimed their own little gap there. Of course, wonderful utility these Harbingers have. Be able to get up there, reclaim wall sections and punch their way through. They're not going to make a push any further up though, not for the moment. Koacher saying he's going to be going for the RAS upgrade on his comm. Be a nice chunk of resources for him and his teammates. And significant lull in activity now suddenly. See what people are building. Tons of Renegades being pumped out of that T3 factory there from Kinky Priest. Chosen's on an upgrade. And look how many ASFs suddenly on the field for Kinky Priest, and that's going to be running fantastic cover for what is a nasty, grisly looking group of T2 gunships there, as well as one Corsair, or a couple of Corsairs from Chosen. That's going to be really, really tough for Team 2 to deal with. Yes, they've got those swift winds there from Koacher. They're primaring the Renegades, and he's got enough of them to send those packing. He's going to lose all of those swift winds though, but at least they've staved off an attack. I think all 3 of those Harbingers went down as well. Thankfully they have a Transcender, or a couple, some T3 SAMs there for Aeon. Over on the left hand side, another little probing push from Just the Game. Still T1, but there's not a great deal on this side of the map to hamper them. Sui has gone absolutely bananas with the wall sections. Doesn't want anything coming down here if he can avoid it. He's blocked off this one as well. Nice use of the walls there. Now this group of Mantis wheeling right. If we can take out all of this and start harassing from this side, he could isolate Laneless's forward base there. Cut him and Koacher off from the main base and start funneling reinforcements down here with Priest. But we've got some restorers in play now from Sui. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Sui at the moment. He's not been one of my favorite players since the Brain Bunch swept him and his teammate aside so effectively. I think the quarterfinal of the Rise of the Immortals trophy, but I think I've been harsh in my judgments. He's doing rather well, and he's just got online a strategic missile launcher, so a very early nuke at minute 20 whilst getting to T3 tech, whilst cutting off some harrowing attacks there from Just a Game. He's looking rather strong. And he's tied for first on mass as well with Kinky Priest there, 184 mass or so, although Kinky Priest just jumped to 200. Relatively even numbers of Mantis over here in the middle for Just Game. However, more reinforcements coming in against Laneless. He has got an advantage of tech though, some hoplites in the mix there, going to be able to retreat and fire cover. More reinforcements coming from him down from the northern expansion here. Coming across that land bridge. He's going to lose a TMD and potentially a Burstmaster as well. It's going to open up some airplay on this edge of the map, but that's going to peter out that attack as Laneless's reinforcements shoo those aside. Blaze is coming in now for General, so a nice little attack there from him. As we enter 21 minutes in this game, it's not going to have the sustain to last, especially not with Loyalists turning up. Laneless entering the T3 phase. Meanwhile, a little push over on the right-hand side. Some Harbingers with associated Asylums can afford them some great protection while they work on Chosen's units. He's got a couple of T3 units in the mix, or had some T3 units. They've just gone pop. Mantis getting zapped all over the shop, and once again this right hand side looking a little bit vulnerable now for Chosen. Why would Koachai be moving up with these units? But just as I said, a bunch of Corsairs coming in. Nice little bombing run. Takes out one Asylum, the other shield's depleted, but it is still alive, at least for the moment. Constant pressure being applied here from Team 1. And what have we got here? Monkey Lord online, and a bug nearly finished as well for Kinky Priest. Gotta love that name. Seems every day Sopcommers get more inventive with their usernames. Always nice to see. And what is this? A whole bunch of Serenities in the mix. So lots of T3 artillery turning up on the front lines there for General. Going to start bombarding Laneless's forward base. It's got a few shield generators in place, so you shouldn't worry too much. But if that group of Serenities gets any larger, he could be in real trouble. It's going to be tough for him, as it is actually, to repel that firepower. That's 5 T3 mobile artillery pieces. That will make life very difficult indeed. And that bug is online, heading south at great speed with a ton of ASFs for cover there. Kinky Priest doing a fantastic job at air in this game, and that's really what's hurting Team 2 at the moment. There's a fair few ASFs actually in the mix from Koachai and Laneless as well. I think not enough to knock out that bug though before Priest's ASFs do the dirty on them. In comes that bug. Laneless is going to want to get his big metal backside into the pond ASAP before those shields collapse. 2 of them are down. The last one is falling very quickly indeed, less than 50%, but it just gets an upgrade at the perfect time there. Pings back online. Laneless is going to get into the water. That bug's going to choose a different target. He knows he's not going to score a comm kill there. He wants to inflict maximum damage. He's going straight for the main base. There is a nuke launcher nearly built there for Laneless, and that's probably going to be a primary target. In comes the bug. Lots of build capacity getting popped. That's free veterancy on the cards for that bug. And south it goes just as the HP begins to run out. Koachai detonates all his engineers. Doesn't want to offer any extra free veterancy to that bug unnecessarily. He's safely undercover and in the water as well. That bug's not going to score any ACU kills down here for the moment, I don't think. Sui might have potentially been got, but there's a lot of flak in there as well as some T3 anti-air. And if they want to hold on to that bug, they're going to have to retreat it. That's what they've decided to do. 32,000 hit points left on that sucker. But no sooner does that bug retreat, a spider turns up. And they haven't got a great deal on the ground in terms of defense. They've got a bank of Oblivion turrets down here. The front door is wide open for the moment, though. Laneless trying to spam up some Cerberus turrets, but Sui in response fires off a nuke. Where to, though, can we see? It's coming right here directly in the middle of the base. A Scathis in production. My god, everything kicking off all at once, as well as a Megalith. Can we see any nuke defense? There's one there, and I think it's got one in the clip. Cannot see because my stupid taskbar is in the way. Hopefully auto hide should start working at some point, but yes, indeed, that does get shot down. Very unfortunate indeed for Sui. That was such an early nuke launcher. Meanwhile, contact on that spider. It's penetrating the outer defenses of Team 2's base, but actually Sui's earlier built Oblivion turrets are affording him some pretty darn good protection there. Does get in there to vaporize a few of them, and that top bank is history as well, but that second row down here really affording Sui all the protection he needs. So Team 2 taking a kicking, but still in this, at least for the moment at least. Harbingers lining up at front there for General, and GC in construction. This leap into T4 has come so unbelievably quickly. Now into the 25th minute, we've seen 2 experimentals from Team 1, another 2 or 3 in production if you count the Scathis, 4 if you count the Megalith over here, and 5 if you count the other Megalith down here for just a game. I have a good feeling about this for Team 2. Not looking good, not a great deal on the field left for them. They've got this spider wreck down here that currently no one is reclaiming. A few restorers hovering around, but air dominance definitely in Team 1's pocket up here. Look at the amount of ASFs that Kinky Priest and Just a Game have access to. Definitely a lot more than Team 2's. Kircher and Laneless were both jointly handling air for Team 2, but they all got vaporized, trying to take as many hit points off that bug as possible. They did succeed, but it cost them all of their ASFs, and now these Harbingers advancing for General, and that forward base that looked so strong a little while ago has been more or less annihilated thanks to that bug. And now this little engagement here from these Harbingers. Last 3 engineers bugging out, one of them biting the dust, another one going down as well. 1 engineer alive after that engagement. All 3 of those factories going down, but Laneless finishes construction of a Monkey Lord there. That should prevent or dissuade General from pushing any further south. The problem is Kircher's forward base is now in jeopardy. GC started up here, but not a lot of build capacity on it. That's going to take a while to complete. He has got a decent eco running there, Kircher, 205 mass per tick. Sui 208, Just a Game 208, Kinky Priest 202, Tag Chosen's, or Clan Tags Chosen 216, 244 there for Laneless. Is that reclaim? No, that's just standard. Very nice work indeed. 27,000 reclaim there for Laneless, who is picking up the Monkey Lord now. That reclaim, that looks like that's going into Sui's pocket. He's busy shoving that into power gen. Needs to get some expansion going. But GC could potentially save the day for Team 2. They're going to need it. They're going to need all of the experimental power they can muster. They've got an awful lot of crabs heading their way, and that Scathis has flown up at a tremendous rate. 15,000 HP of 17,500 done. Oh, it just does not look good for Team 2. Question is, what, if any, can they see of that? Do they know what they're facing? There's a lot of spy planes out just as I say that, coming in to spy, and when they spot this Scathis and how close that is to being finished, their hearts are going to sink. It's going to be a tough call for them to get any kind of strat bombing snipe together to finish that off. You can see the pings going down there. That's a horrifying vista for Team 2. So strat bombing rush not really on the cards with all of those ASFs out for Team 1. It's now over, I fear, says Kircher. Never say never in SOPCOM. You never know what's going to happen, but I won't lie to you, dude, it doesn't look good. It really, really doesn't. Laneless spamming up a megalith nice and quickly as well, though. They're not doing too badly considering. And very cheeky, you can see General having snagged a couple of these mass points in hostile territory there. Sui not having that. He's got a pretty chunky group of restorers going on. He's going to move forward and zap those. The question is, did he move too far forward? In come the ASFs from Priest, getting in real up close and personal with those restorers. And Sui is going to lose a bunch of them. Just the game turning up 10 minutes late to the party. Not going to get any joy there. And those Serenities just harassing now Coach's forward base. Coach getting in around the back of General's base, but General's been spamming up Oblivion turrets like it's going out of fashion. And Coach doesn't feel like he wants to engage any further. That another air engagement on those restorers, and that really does thin them out. There's only a handful of them left. Looks like Sui wanting to drag those ASFs over this huge bank of Myrmidons that Laneless has. Lots of T3 there in place, and General needs to be a little bit careful there. I mean, he's got a lot of T3, he's got a lot of Oblivion turrets, he does have a GC, but that's 3 experimentals from Team 2 knocking on his door there, and his commander is very, very close to that.
Strategic launch detected.
And there goes another nuke from Sui. Where is it heading? It's heading down here, as I see the beacon, and General wants to move his commander, because I'm pretty sure that's within the blast radius. He's got 17,000 HP on his comm, but I don't think he's going to be able to withstand that. He needs to get moving now. He's not doing it. Could this be the thing that turns around the game, or at least gets Team 2 back into it? Boom, baby! Down he goes. You can see the double Nova explosion. And what's great about that for Team 2, it means that those 3 experimentals virtually took no damage, and they've taken out one of those. Kinky Priest said he didn't see that one coming. And that's what you've got to be careful for, especially being that far forward. You cut down the travel time on that nuke. Got less time to move out the way, but it didn't look like that was on the cards anyway. He just wasn't even attempting it. And as the rest of General's stuff goes up, it is now 3 versus 3. That's evened it up somewhat. But that Scathis is still a game changer, and look how fast it moves these days. Much more effective weapon than it was when it first got changed. Still had the same kind of speed, but the problem is it's now under threat from Kirch's forward troops. They've moved in since General's lost his forward base there. Luckily for Priest, there are a couple of friendly megaliths coming in around the edge of this hillock here to alleviate the pressure. It's a lot of restorers in the mix again from Sui, and now some shockers, so some strap bombers coming in. They really want to deal with this Scathis, but there's too many ASFs in the proximity, and once again Team 2's air gets thinned out. And I say thinned out, more or less wiped out. And that Scathis back in the base again. Moving forward though, once again, it's just crabs everywhere. It's like the beach from hell. Kocho withdrawing with what units he's got left. Just Asylums and Ascendants left, really. The rest of those T3 units have been taken out. But nice work from this nuke launcher there from Sui that has kept Team 2 in this, albeit still behind. Now it's March of the Crabs as they make their way south. Take a look at the kind of range on this Scathis. You can see just getting the main base into range now inside that yellow line. And when he decides to set up shop, I think my target selection would probably be Sui. He's been the major thorn in their side in this so far, and it's coming right to the edge of the river, deploying those colossal gun barrels. And up it starts. But shockers coming in from Kircher, lands a couple, knocks off a few thousand, or at least lands one. More coming in from Sui as well. That's not going to get the job done though. That screen of ASF's just far too effective from Priest and Just a Game. I feel like I'm commentating on a horse race with names like Just a Game. But bam! That's going to really hurt. Lots of build capacity getting destroyed there. Going straight after the T3 air production. Not a bad call. Wants to extend the life of the Scathis as best he can. The best way to do that is hamper any strap bomber production that's going on there. Laneless committing his ASFs once again to a fight. This time going after some Revenants though that Kinky Priest had in the mix. He's got those out to deal with some of these experimentals which are now going at each other. One of the GCs down there for Koacher, and another one surely going to capitulate to the fire from two crabs. The third one's over here. Will he snag at least one of these megaliths? I think he will. 46,000 HP on the clock left against 15,000, so at least one of those going down there. Nice positioning from Koacher of those Ascendants next to that GC. But finally, a couple of Revenants come in to finish those off. But another two Experimentals coming in now from Laneless and Sui this time. But look how many they are. They want to make a beeline if at all possible for that Scathis. That's the thing they've got to be worried about. They're primarying the GC just in case it decides to make a play for that Scathis. Megalith drops dead about the same time as that GC from Sui. Now it's two Megaliths on one. Look at the amount of experimental wrecks in the middle of this map. So much mass, and I think that's fair to say it's going to be easier for Team 1 to get their hands on that mass than it is for Team 2. And look at the pot marks from all of those Scathis shells landing in the middle of Sui's base there. And a ton of Chesters that Just a Game has been keeping hold of throughout this. Finally finds an opportunity to use them, and they help shed the extra HP along with some Revenants there from Kinky Priest. And now it looks like just one Megalith really for the moment standing between Team 2 and total annihilation. Scathis starting up once again. Two of those Megaliths moving south. This time Laneless potentially the target. All of that build capacity around that air factory primary again. It's definitely the way to go. Harass their air capacity, harass their build production around their air capacity. Try and take that out of the game. If you can nuke these three T3 P-Gens, that would be quite a bonus. But if they can hold on to air control in this game, that's definitely going to be something that will help them secure the win. A bit of overkill there. So many engineers just begging for the chop. That Scathis up to 206 kills now. Retargeting, reprioritizing on the forward section of Sui's base. Looks like he's actually almost going for Sui's commander there. Such a brutal piece of equipment. But look at this. Look how many trebuchets Chosen's got on the right-hand side. And that forward base that has served Koacher so very well in this has been more or less eradicated. Laneless getting quite an upgrade on his commander with lots of assistance. What's going on here? What have I missed? What are they talking about? lane try teleport. So we're going to try a little bit of a Mazacom now, Team 2. Guess they feel it's GG. I don't blame them. They've got to scath this up. Too many experimentals for them to handle. Laylas seeming to finish that upgrade. What's he got on the com here? Having trouble actually selecting that because of the stupid thing. Well, take my word for it. He is now teleporting. The question is, where is he teleporting to? There's pinging going down. Kinky Priest on an upgrade himself there, his commander. So they've been well spotted, well scouted, those guys. And look at that. Teleport in. Kinky Priest has been defeated instantly as well. Laneless, however, gets popped too. So they were ready for the telly. Team 1. Got to expect it's on the cards when they're being that firmly beaten, and that's, more importantly, the scath is out of commission as
strategic
all
launch
of
detected.
Kinky Priest stuff goes up. And has that allowed a gap for a nuke as well from Sui? No, there is a strategic missile defense there from Chosen, still in commission. And another scath is under construction. Will that grab it? Yes, it will. It was going right for the edge, but Sui run it too close there to Chosen's nuke defense. And now Hoplites moving in to help finish off this base. Couple of Oblivion turrets still in operation there. Still operational, but those trebuchets will be able to finish that off without any real difficulty. Of course, a lot of ASFs went pop in that for Team 1. The only real commanding presence now for Team 1 in the air is just a game, and that has really opened things up. Despite losing Laneless as well in that Team 2, it's looking significantly more even this game now. Chosen using eggs, lovely to see. So rarely you see the crabs actually using that ability. They can build bricks incredibly quickly, and it's such a useful thing. If you're not using that experimental, put it into work, get him in the water building eggs. Why not? You see how quickly that builds the bricks when you have the eco to do it. Tag Chosen's eco looking pretty good, 288, just a game on 300. Sui on 263 and Kircher on 188. So Team 1's eco significantly healthier at the moment. Don't know how much of that is down to reclaim though. So reclaim just a game, 40,000 over the course of this match. Chosen 125,000. Damn, dude. Sui 37,000, bottlenecking power hard, and Kircher 53. So Chosen doing very well on the reclaim front, and that's why he's had some engineers in this central area. He's managed to grab a bunch of these experimental wrecks, and there's others for him to get should he decide to do so. And we've got a Tsar under construction here by Sui. Another GC over on the right side there for Kircher as well. And there is one at the front jostling backwards and forwards, taking trebuchet fire. He's had to move up there to stem the push on the right hand side there from Chosen. But look at this. I mean, 1, 2, 3 crabs, another one underway, tons of bricks being built in the middle, some more back here, lots of bangers to discourage gunships. That's a grisly looking group of experimentals back there. Another Scathis, and that's 60% done. Unreal how quickly these guys spam it up. Of course, the Scathis fractionally costs what a fraction of what it used to. Take a look at what it costs now, just 85,000 mass, but of course that range significantly reduced from what was effectively more of a global range. I think it used to have more or less 40 to 80k kind of range. Not quite global, I don't think it was, but certainly significantly larger, and that's why it now has to be very mobile indeed to be able to get into range to do stuff. But it's a much more interesting weapon, and it's nice to see large artillery pieces being used at this level. Never used to happen before, of course. Restorer's the name of the game now for Sui, knocking out as many as he can. And Tsar not doing too badly either. 26,000 HP and climbing. Gonna knock this up a notch though, as there seems to be so little going on now. We have got a bug back here for Chosen. These guys just teching up. But as soon as I say that, Restorers move forward, start targeting the unfinished megalith in the pond there. In come some ASFs from Just a Game and another nuke from Sui. That must be third or fourth one. And he's really pushing this out far to the left this time. If he can snag this Scathis, he'll be a happy bunny. I think that's going to clear.
Strategic launch detected.
Jeez. 3 nuke launches. Oh my god, Chosen, that's outrageous. Surely that's going to get through. What's the range on that nuke defense? Where's it gone? There it is. And I think that nuke, though, from Sui is going to get through. The question is, how much damage will it do? There it goes. It's going to land. Boom. Scathis survives. Doesn't even get clipped. Unfortunately, so do all of those T3 power plants. And Team 2 actually had enough there for enough strategic missile defense missiles to shoot down those nukes. Pinging going down on that Tsar, which is very nearly finished. And we actually saw in the last game that we cast that epic with Chosen yesterday, some very nice work with the Tsar, showing you that if the conditions are right, if you can get control of the air or eliminate any air power of your opponents, Tsar can really turn games around. But it's going to be a tough call. And now, bang, operational. 3 GCs down here for Kocha. Time for some scouting, says Laneless posthumously. And that second Scathis firing out a few rounds, this time onto the left-hand side of the map. Not really anything key over there. And I think Just a Game a little bit too, well, not too, but a little bit understandably cautious and pensive with that Scathis. Trying to get him in range, but keep him safe at the same time is a really tough ask. It was a lot easier when Priest was in the game. They had overwhelming air superiority. We've got a few ASFs down here for Kocha, some more down here. Not a great deal out from Sui, or any that I can see. Spy planes going over now from Kocha, trying to get a little bit of intel. And south, that Scathis heads. Engineers on that other Scathis wreck there for Just a Game. That'll be harvesting tons of mass for them. But look at this, a GC in from Kocha, working on that pre-built, or unfinished I should say, megalith. Finally finishing off that T3 engineer, but I think they might manage to finish this Monkey Lord potentially. That's 4 GCs in the mix, and that Tsar is on the move. We want to keep an eye on that. Bricks moving forward now from Chosen. Put as much fire on them as they can. That Monkey Lord is going to get completed, and that will really hurt Kocha. 4 GCs is a lot, but I don't think he's got enough to contend with that much firepower. He's going to move back. This could cost him. He's pirouetting around with those experimentals. He needs to commit. 2 more megaliths coming in there from Just a Game. That Tsar is moving right out to the far left of the map there. Some Revenants coming in from Chosen. What's he going for is the question. And Bug coming in as well from Chosen. Wondered when we were going to see that. Finally, the Monkey Lord goes down. Just 2 GCs left in the game. That's heading south. The ping's going down on Sui's commander. This could be very interesting timing indeed. An air battle going on in the middle between Kocha's ASFs and Just a Game, but also some Restorers coming in. Sui is on the move, trying to get to safer water. There's a lot of T3 anti-air in there. Those ASFs retarget that Tsar. shouldn't have gone to single screen there. Apologies for that. Sui making a run for it. He's on just a few hundred hit points, gets inside the shield at perfect timing and manages to kill that bug. Unbelievable. And with the help of the restorers, that Tsar has finished off the ASS, and now the Tsar is going straight after Just the Games ACU. That is unreal. A nuke, though, going out for Team 1. Where's that come from? It's come from Chosen, and it's going straight after the two commanders for Team 2. Just the Game won't make it out alive. He goes pop. It's all going to come down to whether or not Team 2 can pull that Tsar over to finish off Chosen in time, or will that nuke take out both of the commanders down here for Team 2. Sui is on the move, just a few thousand HP on the clock. The nuke is overhead. Are they out of the way? The Tsar gets over the top of Chosen. The nuke lands, takes out both of the commanders. Chosen has the Tsar on top of him. The Tsar's about to fall. Detected. He drops down to 6,900 HP, but survives. A couple of restorers in there, but the wind goes out. It's too late. I can't believe that ending. That's insane. Absolutely insane. And it looked like Team 2 were out of that game for so long in that, but that timely snipe there from Laneless got them back in it, and my god, you don't get a closer finish than that. I don't think they would have been able to do it. You can see just a couple of hit points left on those last two restorers. Tag Chosen, 7,176 hit points remaining on that commander. Just fired off another nuke as well to make sure, but my god, what a unbelievable turn of events. 47 minutes long and a ton of action. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope I didn't get too excited there at the end, but trying to keep up with the two concurrent pieces of action that were happening there were absolute nightmare. Oh my god, my brain is fried. Like I say, guys, hope you enjoyed that. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.